Were we the last generation that was actually raised, or were we managed off of fear? Welcome to another episode of Chaos to Calm. I'm your lovely host, Sandy Davis. Hi guys, welcome to another episode. And as you guys know, in each episode, I like to start off with a positive note or a scripture or something to get us started. But before we get started, I would like to say, make sure you go like, subscribe, and share this video. Help me get some people out here, you know? So, we're going to get started with a prayer, I think. I have this little prayer book that I've been trying to look at every day and just write down different stuff just to get, work on my spiritual relationship with God. So, this prayer I thought was good for today. It's a thank you prayer. So it says, thank you, Father, for being the God who hears. It's mind-blogging that you know my heart even before I do. When I pray, I can trust you will answer in your own perfect timing. I can rest in knowing that you are answering my prayers even before I pray. Amen. And I just want to take the time to thank you, God, for knowing what I need before I even need it, for answering those prayers that before I even pray them, for blessing me not only financially but spiritually, mentally, my family. You know, I said this year has been a little rocky, but I'm still so thankful, and for all my blessings. So that's a positive note. I hope that helps someone today. But let's get started. So we're like in the end of January, about to go into February. So hopefully you guys' year is going well. I would say mine started off a little rocky. We recently had a loss in our family. My cousin recently passed about 3 days after Christmas. So we went into the new year, you know, having a celebration of life for her. And then my dog, Bubba, whom I had for about 18 years now. He was 18 in human years, and he was about 88 in dog years. He recently, I had to put him to sleep. So that's been a little, you know, hard on me. But other than that, I am healthy. My family is healthy. Everyone is doing well. And I'm still thankful. I am still thankful. So with that being said, let's get right into the topic. So I want to talk about, were we the last generation to be raised, or were we just raised off fear? Because I saw someone posted a post on Facebook, and they were like, you know, everyone is saying how when we were growing up, we had to walk to school in 6 inches of snow. We had temperature was below 0, and we still had to go to school. There was no snow days like they do now. They call off for everything, in my opinion. But the person who posted it said, just because we did it does not mean it was right. And I thought that was a good topic to talk about, because we can say, yeah, we did it, you know, but does that make it right? What's the difference between discipline, or is it is the difference, but it's hard to find a difference between discipline and just plain old trauma. Were we just traumatized, or was that tough love? I remember we had like about 6 inches of snow. It was a lot of snow. It was maybe up to my calf. and I still had to walk to school and from school. And when I got home from school, I was so cold. Like, I could not feel my hands nor my feet. And I just went home, took off, because my feet were wet, my hands were wet, took off my stuff, and I just sat in front of the heater, of the heater vent, and just dried off and tried to defrost my hands, my feet, like my nose. Everything was just so cold. And granted, I'm still alive, you know, no harm, no foul, is that what they say? But the trauma of that, when I think about it, I was freezing cold and like could not warm up. I had to literally sit in front of the heater for hours just to warm up, and then had to go do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I remember another day walking to school, getting chased by a big pit bull dog. I mean, chasing me. I jump on the car, chasing me. I'm hollering and screaming, I ran to someone's house, trying to knock on their door, like trying to get in. Traumas. Like, when I think about it, I'm traumatized. Walking to school. These are the stories I have from walking to school. My cousin, he was older than us, and he used to walk us to school. We were in like elementary, and I used to hate when he walked us to school because I knew that we were never going to make it to school. We would get chased by dogs, we would get beat up, we would get bullied, all because he wanted to just go in the neighborhood, be bad, and supposed to be taking us to school, but he was in middle school, so we had to listen to him. He was the only person that would walk us to school at the time. So it was like, when I think about me going to school, it was, and I know one thing, we better still didn't come home until school was over. So whether we did not make it or not, we had to find somewhere to go. Because we couldn't come home until school was over. So that's why I say we didn't have no snow days, no off days where, oh, we just stayed home and our family was okay with that. No. Y'all better go somewhere until school is out. So if we had like a skip house or whatever, we could not go home, is what I'm trying to say. Nowadays, the school would close for anything. First of all, we've been closed for like 2 or 3 days this week just from the snow, and they said the temperatures were below 0 or 11 or something like that. So the school was closing. Kids can't go to school. But I think they should have some type of alternative, because the rate that we're going, these kids are already not the smartest. All these missing eggs, they're not going to make it. But I'm just telling you, even in the summertime, I'm not even just talking about the wintertime. These schools will close if the AC is not on. Oh, the AC is not working. We're going to cancel school for today. That's like a luxury, you know? Back in my day, that was a luxury. If we didn't have AC, oh well, we in that thing hot, sweating, and still got to do our work. Now, my question is, were we just tortured? Was that really like raising kids? And nowadays, as families or as parents just don't want to raise the kids anymore? Because my opinion, it's a lot of things I did not agree with as far as my parents, as far as the parenting ways, like growing up, different parenting ways growing up. But a lot of things I feel like the kids need. They need nowadays. That's why our generation, I asked the question, was our generation the last generation to actually be raised? Because I don't know if I can say this generation is actually being raised. It's like no one today know what tough love is. It's like, oh, mental health, and I'm all for mental health. Don't get me wrong, but at some point we gotta stop using mental health as an excuse. So, say your kid been out 30 days out of the whole semester. There's no room for a mental health day. You done had enough mental health days, you know. So it's like, when is the education more important than their feelings or how they feel or whatever the case may be? Is it worth the trauma? Do you think that it was worth the trauma we went through? Because granted, we went through trauma. I will say, I just gave you guys two stories that was very, very traumatic for me. But look at me. Did it make me tougher? Yes. I feel like today these kids are so soft. They would not even make it through half of the stuff that we went through. And is that really like something to be proud of? Or am I looking at it wrong? I need to know, guys. Let me know in those comments, what do you think? Were we the last generation to be raised? Do you think that they're just closing these schools and these reasons are not valid enough? Because walking to school in freezing cold and snow and whatever the case may be, I had to walk to school every single day. Every day. So when I think about it now, I know that there's kids that don't get rides to school every day. My son, he get rides to school every day. I didn't have that luxury growing up. I had to walk no matter how far my school was. If I had to get on a bus, I remember I went to Clinton Township, so I stayed like about 10-15 miles away from there. And probably more than that. I had to catch a bus, walk all the way to the bus stop, whole mile to the bus stop, and then get on the bus, catch the bus to school. And don't let me not go. I mean, you were scared back in the day. We were raised off of fear. But was that a bad thing? I think that that's what's missing from the kids today is fear. The parents want to be friends with them now, and they don't fear anything. And on top of that, the schools want to close for everything. So it's not like the parents are necessarily making them go to school, because with the gentle parenting or with the generation now, if you have an episode, if you say I'm sick, whatever, you don't have to go to school that day. You can have mental health days, you can have whatever. So I can't think and this is not like, it is to compare, but it's like, it is, I want to know if it's fair, or if you think that, because I think it was fair. I think that, you know, if you do, I don't know how to put it, but okay, so growing up, I can't think of a day that I had and I was like, oh, I need a mental health day today, mom or grandma or whoever. I can't go to school. I didn't get sleep last night. Let me tell you, I'm sitting here rocking a baby. That's not my baby. Let's be clear. Rocking a baby, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, to sleep. I'm asleep. Gotta go to school in the morning, but I gotta rock this baby to sleep. And I better still wake up for school, unless I'm gonna get my ass whooped. So when I'm telling the story, it's terrible. We were traumatized. We were. And a lot of that came from fear. So So we did do a lot of things out of fear. So should we bring that back? I'm all for it. I think that some things we can do different. But some things need to stay in order for us to have law-abiding citizens in this world. Because right now, these kids don't fear anything. This is why you know, the police come out, they don't get any respect. The teachers not getting any respect. The elders is not getting any respect. And it all stems from you guys like, oh, well, we want to do the opposite of what our parents did. And granted, I think all of us were so focused on doing the opposite of what our parents did, we didn't focus on the fact that we are raising soft, entitled, good for nothing future adults. We are. So that's why I asked the question. Because I really want to know, I know it's a big difference in the parenting back in the day and now, but me personally feel like a lot of that structure, a lot of that parenting from back in the day, we need to bring it back. We do. We need to bring it back. Like the school thing, people say, oh, well, leave your son alone. He get good grades. He's a good kid. He does good in school and da da da. And I tell them all the time, he doesn't have a choice. You guys are saying that to me like he has a choice. Oh, give him a break. He does good in school. What else is he going to do in school? If I send a child to school every single day, because I make sure I send my kids to school every single day. The only time they have an excuse not to go to school if they're sick. I don't want you to get anybody else sick. I don't want you going to school sick. You're not going to be able to focus. You're not going to get anything done anyway. So that's the only time my kids are allowed to miss school. So if I'm sending you to school every day and you're coming back with bad grades and I'm accepting that, what does that say about me? So when people say that to me, I always just break it down to them. Baby, he doesn't have a choice. I don't know what kind of parenting you're doing, and it's not for me to understand, but he doesn't have a choice. If I'm sending him to school, you're going to learn. You're not going to play around. And if you don't understand the subject, I will get you a tutor. I will help you, whatever the case may be. So you cannot tell me I'm sending you to school 99 or 95% of the time and you're getting an F. Something's not adding up. So when people say that, it always confuses me because you don't have a choice. If you're allowing your child to come home with bad grades, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That's just, I don't know what to say. So, that's just it. And back then, so much have changed from back then. And back then, I'm talking about like the 80s, 90s. I can't even say 2000s. I think early 2000s, that's when things probably changed. But it was just so much different. I saw a video on Instagram the other day, and this mom was whooping her son. He was 12 or 13, and she was whooping him with a belt. And someone was recording it. And they put up on the caption of the video, mom arrested for child abuse, because she was whooping her son and someone decided to record it. And they said, oh, she's an upstanding teacher. It's like two different personalities. What y'all don't understand is when you're a parent, it's just like when you're in a relationship. When you're a parent versus when you're just taking care of other people's kids, it's going to be totally different. Your kid is going to try you way different than another child will try you. And even if they don't try you, this child is my responsibility. So I might be different with your child than my child. This is my responsibility. So because she's whooping him, they're in the uproar. Oh, this is a different personality, and she doesn't act like this. She's a teacher, and da da da. Yeah, but this is my son. This is my thing. It's like with the Crumbly case, the little boy that unalived all those kids at the high school in Oxford in Michigan, and they arrested and charged his parents. It's like, you guys want to put me in jail for chastising my child. Because this lady is fighting a case for whooping her child with a belt. She struck him about 12 times, they said in the video, with a belt. So she's got a case for whooping him with a belt. And the Crumblies have a case. They're actually serving time in prison because their child went up to a school with their purchase, I don't know if I can say gun on here, with their purchase gun, and unalived some kids. Okay? And you're telling me that I'm responsible for my son, who was 15, going up there and unaliving some kids, which I had no control over. I mean, rest in peace to those kids, and my condolences to the family. But I had no control over that. I'm not a psychic. I cannot predict what my child was going to do. I'm going to go to jail and serve time for this. And then, if I had whooped him and beat him before, I still would have served time and went to jail for that. So it's like, you want me to parent, but you want to tell me how to parent. And if I don't parent how you want me to parent, then I go to jail. And if I don't parent correctly in your eyes, I still go, and my child does something, I still go to jail. It's a lose-lose situation. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Anybody that try to tell me not to chastise my kids, I always tell them, I would give you the phone to call the police. They can come and they can take them. If you think that you can do better with them, then take them. Take them. But you're not going to tell me that I'm not going to chastise my kids. I'm just going to have to get the charges, because I'm going to chastise my kids. You can call the police, you can call whoever, and I'm going to chastise them again and again and again. You cannot tell me how to parent, and then when something happens, say I didn't parent well enough, so I gotta go to jail. So either way, I'm going to jail, so I'm gonna whoop some ass. Okay? That's just it. So we have to be careful, because nowadays, with this cancel culture, gentle parenting, let's be clear. I'm all for gentle parenting. I'm not all for it, but you know what I'm saying. If it can be done, it can be done. But I'm not. You have to know your child, and you have to trust that I know my child. I have 3 boys. The first one, I probably whooped 100 times. The second one, I could probably count on my hand how many times I had to whoop him. The third one, same thing. Probably, I don't know. You know, he's like in the middle. I can remember how many times, then probably more. I don't know. The third, it's just to give you an example. Each kid is different. Some kids you can use gentle parenting on. It works. Some you cannot. And you're not going to tell me how to parent my child. It's just mind blowing. When I ran across that video and I see her whooping him, and he had his clothes on, baby. We got whipped with extension cords right out the tub, water on us, webs, everything. I will say that was torture. That was traumatic. Yes, that's not fair. I don't feel like the kids should get whipped with extension cords. No, but some of these kids, you have to beat them, because that's the only way they get the message. Some of them you can put in the corner, you can put in timeout. But we have to go back to a time when we were back parenting. We have to go back to that time when we were parenting and showing tough love. I don't think there's anything wrong with tough love. My statement I always tell parents, if your child go their whole life liking you, you have did something wrong. You have not parented. There's no way you can parent a child and they like you your whole entire life. There's no way. They're going to not like you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to tell their friends about you. All of that is perfectly fine with me. Because I'm not here to be like, we gonna be friends when you get grown. But my sole purpose right now is to get you to be a upstanding citizen, responsible adult, take accountability, and just learn how to deal with their emotions. We're not even teaching these kids how to deal with their emotions. We got these little boys, the little girls dump them. They going to kill them, unalive them, and doing all type of crazy stuff, when it's like, what happens to it's more fish in the sea. Like, we're not even teaching them to deal with their emotions anymore with this gentle parenting stuff. And the first thing they need to learn is tough love. The world is going to be a cruel place for these kids. And if we're calling them and, oh, you don't have to work under these conditions, because this we're telling them, when you get a job, you don't have to go to work. You can just call in. That's what you're teaching them. Call in. When I had my job, I would have to be dying, like literally sick. You know how people say, what's your pain level, 1 to 10? And these kids will say 3. And you want to call in to work? And you don't want to go to school? A 3? I would at least have to be like a 7 or 8. And it's not, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, that's not right. That's not right. I mean, to the sensitive people, it may not look right. But we have to start raising tough skin, tough kids. We have to start raising tough adults, because this is what's wrong with the world today, in my opinion. We have too many soft people in the world today. Everything is emotional. You guys are responding with your emotions. Get your emotions out of it. And that's because we're not teaching them as parents, as the adults, as the leaders for these young adults, young teenagers, young kids, whatever the case may be, toddlers. You got to start at a young age. I start young. That tough love, because the world is going to be tough. Okay? So I done rambled enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Just make sure you like, comment, and share. Let me know what you think. Are we the last generation to be raised? Are we? Are we the last generation to be raised? Or were we just managed off of fear? I think a little bit of both is true. We are the last generation to be raised. And It was managed off of fear, but I don't think it was a bad thing. I just don't. But let me know what you guys think. And until next time, make sure you like, comment, and share, okay? Please. Until next time, I'm your lovely host, Sandy Davis. Oh, and don't forget to send any response, any questions you like to hear, any topics you want to hear me talk about, or you want input on, to chaos to calm podcast at gmail.com. That's chaos to calm podcast at gmail.com. Until next time, bye.